Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California podcast. My name is Leslie. I'm Knit California here on YouTube and also over on Instagram and TikTok. And today I've got a regular podcast episode coming at you. I was looking back at my YouTube history and video posting schedule, and I haven't filmed a regular podcast episode since like September 16th. And this is getting posted on November 11th, so I have a lot to catch you up on what I've been knitting on, what's currently on my needles, and some acquisitions that I've gotten from the last 2 months since I've posted a podcast. So I'm really excited to sit down and finally share all of this with you. If you're new here, I went on a trip, a knitting vacation to Ireland in the month of October. I was there for 2 weeks. Then I got home and I was sick for like another week and a half. So I have posted a video talking all about my Ireland trip. It was the last video that I posted last week. So if you haven't watched it and you're interested in hearing all about that and seeing all of the yarn that I picked up and other acquisitions along the way, you can go check that one out. I'm not going to be talking too much about the Ireland trip in this video. This is really going to be kind of moving on, as sad as that might be, but really focused on my finished objects that I have. I've got 5 today, which is crazy. That's, also if you're new here, that's not normal. Usually I've got maybe 1, sometimes none at all. So a lot of them are small, but we'll get into them. I'm going to talk to you about what's on my needles right now. I currently have 3 WIPs and another that's going to be cast on very soon. And then I also have some yarn that has arrived. Some of it arrived while I was in Ireland, and one arrived just yesterday. So let's get into all of this. And let's start with what I'm wearing. You may have noticed this is a finished object. It did used to be a WIP. I think you saw it on the podcast while it was a WIP. I'm pretty sure you did. But this is my finished Lento sweater. It's a design by Jonah Hayatala for Lina Magazine, Lina Publishing. This is actually the second Lento that I've made. I made another one I want to say last year, but it was actually at the very beginning of this year. It's like a turquoisey green one, and I love that one as well. I loved it so much that I got yarn to knit a second one. The yarn that I used for this is 2 yarns. The first is Ba Yarn's La Jolla Base in the colorway Toasted Neutral, which is the speckly color that you see. And I held that with 1 strand of Surrey alpaca. The Surrey that I used is from Red Stag Fibers. It's their new Surrey base. I'm not sure if I think it's called Castle Surrey, and the colorway is called Birch, and it was just an off-white strand of Surrey. And I picked these yarns up at the San Diego yarn crawl at the end of, was it the end of September? Have you not seen this at all? Hold on. Hold on, let me check. You haven't seen this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know I showed you the yarn after the yarn crawl because I remember talking about it in one of my last episodes. One of the dogs just groaned. Oh my gosh. All 3 dogs are in here and they're just asleep on the bed and on the floor. I remember talking to you about the yarn because I picked it up at the San Diego yarn crawl from Apricot Yarns in Liberty Station in San Diego, my favorite local yarn store, even though they're like an hour away from where I live. But I don't think I actually showed you any of the progress of making this sweater. Okay, well, since I got the yarn, I cast on and I finished a whole sweater. This is a really quick sweater pattern to knit for me, at least, because it's knit up at a really large gauge. So I didn't actually write down the gauge of this Lento, but I have all my notes from the first one that I made. The pattern gauge is 15 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and my final blocked gauge for the first one that I made was 14 stitches. So that's a really large gauge. I knit this one exact same size, exact same needles, so I'm sure it's very similar. So 15 stitch gauge is really large. I knit it on 6.5 millimeter needles, again really large, and it's 1 strand of fingering weight plus 1 strand of suri, so that's about a DK weight. So this is a very like light open gauge sweater. I like this because it's not too like, the gauge isn't tight, it's not very dense, so it's not as warm as like, you know, a tighter knit or like more dense fabric. I know I just said that multiple times, but it's nice here for the climate in Southern California where it gets, you know, in the 50s and 60s. I can wear this and still be comfortable. I have noticed that if I wear this out in the wind, it has like no wind protection because of the large gauge. Like the wind just comes right through and then I'm like, I'm cold. So that is something to keep in mind. But I only used 3 skeins of fingering weight and 3 skeins of suri. So that's another really nice thing about this, is if you have some like 3 skein options in your stash and you want to get a mohair or suri to go along with it, that's not too much yarn for a sweater. I knit up the size 4. That's the size that I've knit both times. I'm about a 40-inch bust, so that gives me, let's see, the size 4 is supposed to be a 48-inch bust. That gives me about 8 inches of positive ease, and I just think it fits really nicely. So I did play around with the needle size on the ribbing. So like the collar ribbing, I do at 4.5 millimeter needles. So this is definitely a little bit tighter. The cuff and the bottom hem, on my first one, I think I did 6 millimeter needles, and on this one, I went down to 5.5 millimeter needles because I did want a tighter ribbing. There are decreases on the sleeves, which I think you can like kind of see. It's very slight. It's not like a huge decrease rate. I didn't want it to be like super tight at the wrists, but I like the transition from the stockinette sleeve to the ribbing. It feels like a straight transition, and it doesn't like really cinch in too much at the ribbing, which I wanted. I kind of wanted it to be a little straight there. So when I blocked this, the sleeves actually grew quite a bit, which I like. I really like when the sleeves sit at this part of my hand, but sometimes when I'm doing things it's a little bit too much, and I've actually been rolling these cuffs up, just the whole cuff. I don't want to see the reverse stockinette on the other side, but I think this is a really cute look with the sleeves rolled up. It just looks like, you know, an extra cozy sweater, I think. I don't know. Overall, I love it. The Lento is a really simple raglan construction sweater. I think the instructions for knitting this are very well written, so if you're looking for a nice beginner project, I think this could be an option. So that's my Lento number 2 that I finished. I brought this with me to Ireland and was working on it a lot while I was there, but I actually did not finish it until I got home the week that I was sick. I actually spent a lot of time in Ireland knitting on one of my other finished objects that I'll show you in a bit. This was honestly just too much to bring around, like working on a whole sweater while on a bus or just, you know, going place to place. It was too much. It was really nice just to have like a hat. It was really what I was working on. A smaller project to take around to all those spots and to knit on. So that's why this didn't get finished till afterwards, but I'm really happy with it. I've been wearing it a lot and I love it. All right, let's move on. So before I get into the hats, because there are multiple hats, I want to share with you my mittens. So I am going to talk a little bit about Ireland. I'm sorry. one of the workshops, one of the knitting workshops that we had in Ireland was with a designer. Her name is Carol Feller, and while we were in the workshop, she gave us a pattern booklet that had 2 patterns in it, and one of the patterns in that booklet was for these mittens. They're called the Peterswell Mitts, and the workshop was all about knitting cables. So she talked to us a lot about her designs, as well as just the construction of cables and some tips and tricks on how to knit them, crossing them front and back, you know, all sorts of stuff. She really taught us how to knit cables without a cable needle, which was really the first time that it really like clicked for me. I was so against cabling without a cable needle before like this trip and this class, and now I absolutely love it, and I'll talk to you more about it also in a little bit. But I really loved these mittens. I cast these on actually right after the class, and I worked on one and finished the whole thing on the day that I was traveling back home, and then I cast on and knit the other one while I was sick. These are like a super quick knit, even though they do have some cables in them. I mean, I was so surprised at how quickly these mitts knit up. I was like, oh man, I need to like crank out a couple more pairs here. These would be really great gifts because they knit up so quickly. And I just love them. The yarn that I used for this, hold on, let me grab another skein. I rearranged my whole yarn stash last weekend, so I like couldn't find it, but the yarn that I use for this is, there we go. It's called Nua Worsted. It's yarn by Carol Feller under this brand Stolen Stitches, and it's a 60% merino wool, 20% yak, 20% linen base. It's incredibly soft. It's incredibly drapey. You can see me just like holding this. It really wants to drape, and that's the yak in here. And you can definitely see the linen, I think, in this dark purple one. Those white flecks, that's the linen fiber. It, you know, just in general, linen fiber doesn't take dye as well, so it's definitely more of like a lighter shade, which I think is really cool, and it's not like rough at all. This yarn is still very soft. This color, this dark purple color, is called Cafe Flamingo, and this was the second skein that I bought of it while we were in Ireland, and this one is called Cerebellum. So if you're interested in trying, you can find this on Carol Feller's StolenStitches.com website. I'm considering buying a whole sweater quantity of this because I love it so much, and I want to cast on a second pair of mitts, potentially for a gift, potentially for myself, I don't know, with this skein. So we'll see. But that is finished object number 2. Finished object number 3. Dun, 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 dun. This is my Stockholm Hat by Petite Knit, and the yarn that I use for this is Ruby and Roses in her Plump Rose base in the colorway Cathedral Portal. I am an affiliate with Ruby and Roses, and this skein of yarn actually was gifted to me for being part of the affiliate program, but I just want to show you up close how gorgeous this yarn is. From far away, it really takes on more of like a brown neutral color, but up close you can see every single little color detail in here. The reds, the greens, the yellows, the pinks. It's really cool. So I think this color would actually be great in like a cardigan because it would like look mostly neutral until you get up close to it. So I had one skein of the fingering weight Plump Rose base. The Plump Rose base is the fingering weight 4-ply that she has, and I held it double for like a DK weight gauge. And the Stockholm Hat is just, it's 1x1 rib. Start at the bottom, you knit it all the way up to the top, and then you start the decreases. The crown, it looks like this, you can see. I don't know. There we go, get the light on it. So you're doing the decreases this way, and you've got this like strip kind of in the middle. I think it looks really nice. I knit this hat on 4mm needles, holding the yarn double, and I forgot that I did this, but the hat pattern is one size, and I cast on 4 extra stitches with a regular long tail cast on. I was going for a single fold brim, and I don't remember why I cast on 4 extra stitches. Maybe I thought it was gonna be too small. Like, I'm pretty sure 4mm, does the pattern call for 4 or does it call for 3.5? No, the pattern calls for 4mm needles. So since I'm a tighter knitter, I probably just assumed that I would need to add a couple more, 4 more stitches. Let me pop this on. I really don't think I needed them because 1x1 rib is really stretchy, as you know. I mean, I do think this has like a good, like a proper amount of stretch, but I think it would have been fine without 4 extra stitches because like it still has more room to go. And what happened while I was knitting this, because I had like, I kept measuring how long I was making it, and I wanted to get to the specific number of inches before I started the decrease, just because that's what it says in the pattern. And so I did, and then I started all of the decreases and I ran out of yarn. And so I had to rip back all of the decreases, and I ripped back probably a good inch past the decreases so that I could start decreasing earlier. Picking up stitches in 1x1 rib is not easy and not fun. I had such a hard time doing it. I actually had to ask one of my friends on the Ireland trip, Sam at Beachy Brews Fibers. I was like, can you please help me? And she was like, yes, I can do this for you. And she picked up all my stitches for me, which was, you know, that's what a good friend does for you. Helps you when you're really frustrated and about to rip literally the whole hat out to restart the decreases. And so I restarted it, I finished it all, and this is how much yarn I had left. Literally this much. It's like barely nothing. So I did it, and I love the way that this like cones up at the top. I think it's really cute. And yeah, I really like this hat. Okay, if you've been here for a while, you know that my favorite hat is the Oslo hat by Petite Knit, and I've knit a bunch of them. I actually have 2 to show you today. So while I was knitting this, and now that it's done, I've been doing a lot of comparing between the Stockholm hat and the Oslo hat. And I guess while we're talking about it, let me just show you. This is one of my next finished objects, which is an Oslo hat. I also knit this in Ruby and Rose's yarn. This is the colorway Material Girl, also on the Plump Rose 4-ply fingering weight sock base, held double for an Oslo hat. So you can see, let me just show you, if you've been here, you've seen the construction, you've seen all of my Oslo hats. I've knit like 10 of them at this point. But this is the Oslo hat. This brim is double folded. So this is already double material, and then you fold it up. So it's basically like a triple brim, which makes this a pretty warm hat. Comparing to the Stockholm beanie, at least with the amount of yarn that I have, this is just a single fold, so there's 2 layers right here. So it's less warm, I would say, compared to the Oslo hat. It's also just like slightly smaller, I would say, because I've only used 1 skein of yarn. I have to use 2 skeins of yarn when I'm knitting an Oslo hat. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, pulling this down to get it fully over my ears, it's like, yeah, I have a little bit of like puff here, but it's like a smaller hat just in general compared to this. You can see I put this on, like my head, my ears are like fully covered by the brim here, and then I've got, you know, a decent amount of hat up here left as well. So the Oslo hat is just my favorite hat pattern right now. It has been for the last year. It will be until I find something better. But like, honestly, can't beat this in my opinion. But I did enjoy knitting something different. I do like that the Stockholm hat took only one skein of yarn to knit, you know, an adult women's size. If I was making this for a man, I definitely would have added more stitches and I would want to make this longer. So I definitely would have needed 2 skeins of yarn in order to do that. My original thought was that this would be a gift for some man in my family, but I made my husband Joel try it on and it was like, I mean, it fit him, but it was, you know, fully like over his head and not sitting the way it was supposed to be sit. So this is definitely a women's head size hat. So I don't know, maybe I'll gift it, maybe I'll keep it, we'll see. Maybe I'll have some of my family try it on at Thanksgiving and be like, who wants it? But anyways, let me tell you a little bit more about this. So this is my second hot pink Oslo hat that I knit. The first one I knit and I finished it before Ireland. I wore it all throughout Ireland. I loved it. It was amazing. It was basically a neutral hat that went with all of my outfits and everyone could see me no matter where I was because it was very, very bright. The original hot pink Oslo hat that I knit was supposed to be a gift for a friend, and I tried it on when I was done and I was like, oh, this is too small. I have a small head, she has a bigger head than me, I know this isn't going to fit her, oh well, I guess I have to keep it and knit her one. So I knit this one. I actually knit this in the largest size, which is supposed to be the adult male size, but honestly, like, I love it. I should have knit this size for myself because it fits really, really nicely. I think what happened was I went down a needle size from the Oslo hats that I normally make. Last year and all throughout the beginning, early 2023, I was knitting all my Oslo hats on a 4mm needle, and the pattern recommends a 3.5mm needle. So for these 2 pink ones, I actually did go down to the 3.5mm needle because I wanted that tighter gauge for the hat, and that's why the first one was too small, because my gauge, it was tighter, it was denser, but it made the hat smaller than I think it should have been, which is why I needed to go up a size because I went down in the needle size to make this one actually fit. Hopefully it fits my friend. If not, I'll just have to make another one, a third hot pink, neon pink Oslo hat. Honestly, I think everyone needs a neon pink Oslo hat in their wardrobe. Even if you don't like the Oslo hat, just make a neon pink hat and wear it. You will feel so fun. You'll feel like you've got a piece of Barbie on your head, and everyone will know where you are at all times when you're out in the world. It's amazing. I love it. I love wearing this. So this is FO number 4, and so the first Oslo hat that I knit, I needed 2 skeins of the fingering weight yarn because you hold it double. And so when I needed to start the second hot pink Oslo hat, I ordered a 3rd skein, and this is all of the yarn I wanted to show you that I had left. After 3 skeins and 2 Oslo hats, it pretty much used up all 3 of those skeins perfectly. So if you've got 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn in your stash and you want to make 2 hats for you and a friend, for you and a sibling, you and your mom, whatever, it's a good use of 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn. Okay, and last but not least, I actually finished this just yesterday. Look how cute it is! Okay, this is the one that fits me, right? There's little baby Oslo hat. It's so cute. So I've got a friend and a neighbor who is having a baby girl, and so I knit up this baby Oslo hat. The yarn that I use for this, surprise surprise, is Ruby and Roses. I have just been cranking out the hats in Ruby and Roses yarn. This skein also was kindly gifted to me for being an affiliate with them, and this skein is called Mistletoe Mixer. It's part of the Timeless Cozy Christmas collection that is now live on Ruby and Rose's shop and will be live through Thanksgiving weekend. So if you're interested in this color, or she's got 14 colors total that are part of the collection, you can click the link in the description box below to shop that collection. All the links and all of the patterns, all of the yarn that I talk about in today's video will all be in the description box down below if you would like to purchase anything, or if you would just need to remember what something was called. And that's for all of my videos, just as an FYI. But I wanted to show you up close all of the speckles on this hat. So it's a cream base with some like pink thrown in there, and then all of the, you know, mistletoe mixer speckles are pink, red, green, blue, purple. It's really, really fun, and I really, really love this hat. I own both the Oslo Hat like regular edition, and there's an Oslo Hat mohair edition. They're two separate patterns. The mohair edition pattern has all of the child sizes listed in it, as well as the adult sizes. The regular Oslo Hat pattern only has the adult sizes listed. So if you haven't made the pattern before, and you're thinking and you don't know which one to buy the mohair edition pattern. Everything else is exactly the same. The stitch counts are exactly the same, whether you hold one strand of fingering and one strand of mohair, or two strands of fingering, but you get the extended size range in the mohair edition pattern. So that's my hot tip for you. Okay, I also wanted to show you, I used one full skein of yarn basically to knit this baby size Oslo hat. This is all that I had left over. So this is a really good one skein project. For any other size of the Oslo hat, I would recommend getting two skeins. Although maybe the next size up, that's only 4 more stitches, might be able to get away with one skein. If you shortened maybe like the body of the hat, I don't know, something to play around with. But I also wanted to show you from Ruby and Roses, this yarn is the complementary tonal pairing to Mistletoe Mixer. This is called Glitzy, is the colorway name, and it's a really nice rose pink color. And this skein as well was gifted along with Mistletoe Mixer, so I just wanted to show them together in case you're interested in, you know, like a sock set or getting a coordinating tonal. This would be the one that I would recommend. I'm planning on using this to make like a little headband accessory to go with the hat for my neighbor's upcoming baby. Isn't it cute? So good. And here's the, oh, I said the name of the bases wrong. Okay, so the plump, here's the label, I'll show you. Ruby and Roses. The plump rose base is the 2-ply base. So that's what I used for this hat, is the plump rose 2-ply base. I don't even know if you can like tell the difference. Can you see? I don't know if you can even see it, but you can feel it. Plump rose, and then these two are actually the soft rose base, which is the 4-ply. Sorry, I got that wrong. Got confused. If I had to choose, again, which one I would prefer to work with, I would choose the soft rose. I just, in general, it's a personal thing, prefer the 4-ply over the 2-ply. So, okay. that's all my finished objects. Let's get into WIPs, and we'll start with one that honestly at this point should not be a surprise to anyone, but I cast on another Oslo hat. Okay, my plan this year, like earlier in the year, in like May, was to start knitting Oslo hats like throughout the whole year so that I had a stash built up to gift for the holidays. Well, the Oslo hat that I cast on in May, I hated the feel of the yarn and I haven't finished it yet. And so a few months ago I was like, I need to just get that off the needles. I need to start on these hot pink Oslo hats, neon pink hats, and just get my hat knitting going again. So since doing that, I've knit 4 hats. One of them was the Stockholm, but 4 hats. And this is the next one that I have on the needles. This one is going to be, it's not the baby size, it's technically the child size. So it's the second size up in the mohair edition pattern. And it's going to be a gift for my nephew. I knit an Oslo hat for him at the beginning of this year for when he was a newborn, and now he's grown out of it. Can you believe it? So crazy. And why do babies grow so fast? But sorry, I got a yarn fuzz itch. This yarn, you can see it the color really nicely here. It's this very dark navy blue. It's called Ink, and it's from Hedgehog Fibers. You see, there you go. Hedgehog Fibers, their Oh So Fine base, which is a 100% merino wool base, 100 grams, 425 meters, which is about 463 yards. This skein I did pick up while in Ireland. I was like, ooh, I love this dark blue. It'll be a perfect hat for my nephew. They are Dodgers fans, Rams fans, UCLA fans, live in Los Angeles. I know this isn't technically UCLA colors, but you know, it's blue, so it'll work for all of those sporting events that they want to go to. So I literally just cast this on and I've done 3 rows. I'm on the 4th row, so more to come. You'll probably see this in the next podcast episode. Hopefully it'll be done by then. This one literally took me 3 days to knit. It was pretty much all I was working on while reading Iron Flame. So I was just knitting away while reading Iron Flame, and I got it done. So, okay, that's it with the hats. I know, Oslo hat season is back. My episodes are just going to be filled with talking about Oslo hats. I'm sorry. I know I talk about them a lot. I can't help it. I love them. But let me show you. I've got 2 more WIPs here to talk about. I actually want to talk about this one first because you've seen it before, and hopefully that means it's more, well, I don't know, maybe it's more interesting if you've seen it before. Who knows, maybe not, but I think you'll be proud of me if you have been here. This is my Eclair Raglan. Remember when I cast this on and I was like, I'm gonna knit 2 cabled sweaters in 1 month before I leave for Ireland, and then I got extremely overwhelmed and put both of them away under my bed and was like, we're not doing this. I can't handle this right now. Well, when I got home from Ireland, I frogged the Dorney sweater, and I've already given away the yarn to someone else. It is gone out of my house and in their possession. And then like a week later, I was like, I really want to work on my Eclair Raglan. And I pulled this out and I've made some decent progress, I would say. Let me actually show you the back because I think you can see the cable pattern better on the back. I'm really proud of this and I'm really happy with it, and now when I do pick it up, I am really enjoying knitting it. I think part of the reason is I just have more brain capacity to knit on cables now. I don't know, something about that time before Ireland, I just like couldn't handle it. It was too much. And now that I have learned how to cable without a cable needle, this is like really fun as well, because these cables are, it's actually 2 cables right next to each other. So each cable is only 2 stitches by 2 stitches, which is very easy to do without a cable needle because it's not a ton of stitches that you're like worried about dropping. It's only 2. And so yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this one. The yarn that I'm using for this, let me get out a full skein here. The yarn that I'm using for this is Explorer Knits and Fibers in the colorway Oxide on the Carlsbad worsted base. So this is a 100% superwash merino wool, 4-ply, 218 yards, 100 grams. I'm loving this color. This pink, oxide pink, I think is knitting up really nicely. It's really beautiful, and I just can't wait to continue working on this. I'm not putting any pressure on myself to like make this my main WIP right now. I am really focusing on the hats because I want to make sure that I can get all of them done that I want to make before the holidays. So this is kind of just like, if I'm feeling like I want to sit down and watch TV and maybe do a little bit of cabling, this is what I'll pick up. But I'm pretty sure this will come with me into the new year. So that's my first sweater WIP, and I have a second sweater WIP, which is kind of dangerous for me. I'm not very good at having 2 sweater WIPs on the needles, but like I said, my main focus is the hats right now, so I think it's okay. I cast on the Stick Season sweater by Rebecca Clow at the Crea Bea, and this is the back panel, and I'm loving it. This pattern came out about a week ago, and I had been waiting for this pattern to be released. Like when we were in Ireland, Rachel was asking me, she's like, what's gonna be your next sweater cast on? And I was like, the Stick Season sweater. Like, I need it to come out immediately. I already have yarn picked out for it. I can't wait anymore. Well, I was able to wait until it came out, and I cast it on the day it came out, last Friday, and I've been just working away on it ever since. This back panel and the top, all of the top is knit in this textured pattern, which is like just a 1x1 offset texture. So 1x1 rib is a little bit slower for me. So again, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to like get this done really quickly. I don't want to burn myself out on 1x1 rib, but I am enjoying working on this. Again, if I need something a little bit more than just plain stockinette, maybe not as much as cables, then I'll pick this one up and do some 1x1 rib. The yarn that I picked out for this is Red Door Fiber Studio in the colorway Nonsense. This is on her classic DK weight base, so it's a 100% superwash merino wool, 246 yards per 100 grams. And I was really excited about this because I had this, I bought it and didn't have any project plans for it. It's been sitting in my stash for a couple months, and as soon as I saw the Stick Season sweater, like, I looked over to my yarn shelf and I was like, that's it. That's my Stick Season sweater. I already have the yarn for it. And that was really exciting. So that's me here to tell you that if you have sweater quantities in your stash that don't have a pattern yet, maybe the pattern just hasn't come out yet. So it's okay, don't worry about them. You'll find a pattern eventually. I have another sweater quantity in my stash. I don't know if you can see it. It's in this cubby, this pink one right here. That's a Sewrella yarn, the Queen, I think from, I want to say from the Downton Abbey collection, but I don't know. But it's this really gorgeous pink color, and I don't have a pattern picked out for that yet either. So something will come up, I'm sure. But I just think this color is so perfect. It's like, in most lights it looks brown, and I'm really not a brown yarn person, but when you put it in the right light, it's got that red tone to it, like a very dark brown brick red, and that in my mind is what I'm telling myself that this color is, that this sweater is going to be. So again, this is just the back panel. I've got, ooh, I'm close. I've got like 16 more rows, and then I just gotta measure it, make sure. I might do a quick steam block of this to make sure it's the right size, and then I can pick up for the front panel as well. You can't see it very well, but there's this really cool ribbing detail that's gonna go down like the back shoulder. So I'm excited to show that to you when we can see it more. Probably when the whole sweater is done and blocked. Actually, I'm sure there's a picture up of it. But it's gonna look really good. I'm really excited about this one. Really, really excited about my stick season sweater. And if you are following along in stick season news, if you don't know, stick season is the name of an album, and there's a song, like a self-titled song on the album called Stick Season by Noah Kahan. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But there's now released, he has now released a new version of the song Northern Attitude, which is the first song on the album, and it's a collab with Hosier. And it's just both of their voices beautifully melded together to sing this song, and it's gorgeous. So go listen to that, and then listen to Stick Season and cast on your Stick Season sweater. It's just a great time all around. Love it. That is all of my FOs and all of my WIPs. So let me talk to you about acquisitions. I've got three sweater quantities here that I have received that I want to talk to you about. So the first one, this was definitely like an impulse purchase. Look at those colors. Okay. This is all Long Dog yarn, and this was a kit from her Asteroid City collection for an instant crush pullover. That is the Colorwork pullover by Joji Locatelli. Look, I rarely do colorwork. Colorwork kind of intimidates me. And colorwork in all mohair lace, I don't know what I was thinking, but I saw this color palette and just kind of died over it a little bit. I think it's so beautiful, and I had to have it. So there's acquisition number one. I think in the new year, Rachel and I from Rachel is Knitting are going to cast that on and knit on it together, and she knits a lot of color work, so she's gonna be like she doesn't know this yet, she's gonna be my color work guru guide through the sweater. But it's really pretty, so I'm excited about that. The next sweater quantity that I got is also multiple colors, but this one is for a striped pattern. I can't hold all these up. Look how pretty that is. I love this palette. Okay, so let me show you this one, because this one's my favorite. If I can get it. Oh, it's okay. This is Sewrella yarn. In her classic DK base. This purple is called Rough Draft. This is one of her new fall tonals for this season. This one is called PSL for Pumpkin Spice Latte. And don't they just look so beautiful together? Purple and orange moment. I love it. And then the neutral that I got to go with these is called Cashmere. Now it's not a cashmere base, it's a superwash merino base. That's just the name of this color is called Cashmere. Yes, I think it's a little bit confusing, but I didn't name them. So there's all three of them together, and my plan for this sweater quantity is to make the Stripe Hype sweater by Kutova Kika. Veronica Lundberg is her name. And I'm just gonna alternate the cashmere will be every other row, and then every other like colored stripe will be orange and purple. And I'm so excited. This was one of the daily palettes that Sewrella put in their stories. If you follow them, you know they do their daily palettes, not every day, but just different color combos, and I saw this one and immediately screenshotted it and sent it to everyone I knew and was like, I need to make a sweater in this, and then bought the yarn the first day the fall tonals went on sale, and you know, now it's here, so yay! Okay, I've got one more to show you. I'm gonna do the crinkling. This is a lot to hold. It's all the same color, but you need the full impact of all of the skeins together, right? Like, that's how I feel at least. Come back. Okay. Look at this. This is Treehouse knits. There you go. In the colorway The River and Duin on her sport base, which I've never worked with a sport weight base, so I'm excited. And I also got it on her yak silk lace base. So this is 41% Surrey alpaca, 35% silk, 13% merino, and 10% yak. So I'm really excited to try this out. I mean, just, oh shoot, one fell. Just feeling it, like, it's really soft. Like, Surrey alpaca, 100% Surrey alpaca is really soft. This is even softer. And honestly, that's the yak and the merino in here. So I'm gonna hold these together. Let me see if you can. It's okay, definitely coming across more darker blue on camera than it is in real life. In real life, it's definitely more turquoise, I would say. But this is a really hard color for any camera to pick up. I was trying to take photos of it when I got it this week, and it just kept coming up blue and missing all of those like green undertones that are actually in it. So that's okay. But my plan is to make a Harlow sweater with this. I think the Harlow sweater V-neck. What did I tell myself? Hold on, I wrote it down. Yeah, this one I want to make the Harlow V-neck, which I think will be really nice. Like a bit oversized, nice V-neck. I really love the one that Amanda from Knits by Mandy made, so that was my inspiration in this purchase. So I'm really excited. I love yarn. So I gotta put all of these on my rearranged yarn shelf. Whoops. And yeah, let's see. I have one more thing that I want to talk to you about. I have pulled out all of the colors that I want to use for my Emily Henry themed Sweet Shop blanket, and I've put them in my new Hedgehog Fibers bag. So they're all in here. I caked up one skein of my neutral yarn that I'm going to use. This is Bella Filato Studio in the colorway Pure Headlights, and all of these, I know I've shown them before, are the Emily Henry sock sets from Red Door Fiber Studio and Explorer Knits. all based on the colors of Emily Henry's books. So we've got People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lovers, my favorite, and Happy Place. So I want to get these all caked up maybe this weekend and cast on. We'll have to see. Again, really focusing on the hats, so I don't want this to take away my time from knitting the hats, but I really want to cast this on. I just really want to have a blanket project on my needles. I think it'll be nice and like relaxing, and I was really excited to use my new bag for this project. So that is coming up soon. Hopefully in the next episode I'll have that cast on so I can show you my little squares, but we'll see. So yeah, that's it. I know that was a long episode with a lot of finished objects, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm trying to think if anything else is coming up here soon. My next video for next week I have planned is going to be a holiday gift guide. So I've been working really hard on getting some good ideas just to help with potential gifting ideas either for yourself or for friends and family. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that video. And then I'll be back with another podcast episode, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do Vlogmas this year in the month of December. I have this feeling that I want to, but I don't know if I'll actually have enough content to film every day or every other day. So I don't know. If you have any thoughts about that, I would love to hear them in the comments down below as well. So that's really it. I hope you enjoyed. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It just helps me out, and you always have a reminder when my next videos are going live. And go follow me over on Instagram and over on TikTok. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!